Blessings and greetings, greetings and blessings, blessed souls. We're live because we are intending to stay live while being configured with Torah Chaim, instructions of life, Torah Chesed, instructions of kindness, Torah Racham, instructions of mercies. And we are now, believe it or not, less than 11 days from the festival of our freedom, Pesach. Passover. And this past Shabbos, I was reviewing a Hasidic discourse by the sixth Lubavitch, Rabbi Yosef Yitzhak of Lubavitch. And rather than recapitulate it, write it down, and maybe I thought I would just try to extract out. I'm looking at the book right here. And this was something that teaching that he delivered almost 80 years ago. Let's see, in 4 days, it will be 80 years ago, Shabbos before Pesach, which would be in the English calendar date, 1940, corresponding to Tuf Shin. So here we go. And I'd like to offer this up as a offering towards the healing of the human family experience in this horrible pandemic. A little cup of lemon water here for l'chaim, to life. Let's see how we can work this out for the next several minutes. So the Rebbe Rayatz, as he was known, started by quoting a oral Torah tradition known as Masechtas Sachim, oral Torah tradition of how we of Israel keep the Passover holiday. So the light, the 14th, is used check the chametz, the leavened material substances, with the light of a candle. In any place where chametz, leavened products, bread, pancakes, cereal, yeast, anything that will rise and has risen to a certain extent according to the halachic standards, this is something we have to check for. But if we haven't brought it into various parts of our apartment, or homes, or wherever it may be, we don't have to check for it. For the checking of chametz, leavened products, so say with the bread, is only in a place where we previously had brought it in during the span of the year leading up until the festival of Passover. Therefore, in a place we didn't bring in the chametz, the leavened products, we don't have to check. So, as is accustomed within the teachings of Chassidus, there is a teaching based on the revealed dimensions of Torah, and then the Chassidus wants us to go back and deconstruct that revealed dimension, not to undermine it, but to let us step back and try to get a deeper perspective of what's being instructed to us on a more sublime level. So when we talk about, according to the standard which is expected of the Jews, check to make sure their houses are emptied of the leavened products before the holiday of Passover, Pesach, we are checking for chametz, meaning we have to look in certain areas, but also there's an emphasis on we're checking for the very element of chametz itself, leavened products. And also we have to do it with the light of a candle, not the light of a flashlight, not the light of a menorah, a torch. So there's a special preciseness by the means of which we are checking for the chametz with the teeny tiny light of candle in the places that we suspect, or we know that we had brought in the chametz previously. But the emphasis is that we're focusing on checking for chametz. Now chametz is not brought down here, but on a spiritual perspective, is the idea of being inflated, being bloated with self-infatuated ego. So the preparation from a spiritual dimension, which can be applied to a Jew or any of the children know, is that when we are checking to see those undesirable traits of arrogance, of over-bloated ego, of narcissistic tendencies, we need to check ourselves to see in the places where we brought to the aspects of our soul garments, of our thought, speech, and action, are we going to remove it in order to get to the next level of freedom, when in this case, in this context, is going out of Mitzrayim, our previous constraints of consciousness of the awareness of Hashem in this world, especially in this world right now, which is languishing in the darkness of this pandemic. So again, the Rebbe asked, why should we be concerned about what type of light it is? Why not a flashlight? A flashlight is a modern device. Why not a torch? Why not check by the light of the sun by day? What's the matter is that, again, stepping back, let's understand what is the context in which we address those entities, those commandments, those mitzvos, and understand there is a positive engagement in the commandments, and there's a level of commandments where we disengage from engaging in certain activities, like not to steal, not to kill, not to serve idols. And all of these things we should be able to find eventually. The essence of these matters concern a service within spirituality of soul that we possess, that blessed soul that we have, that is so unique for each and every one of us. So therefore, too, if we're checking for a physical leaven product before the festival of freedom, there has to be something, again, that we're checking within ourselves that needs to be checked out and removed in order to our own personalized form, our own festival of freedom, going out of our previous limitations of awareness of the Creator and our previous limitations of how we engage in good thoughts and speech and good action. Now, the seeking out of the leaven products, chametz, has to be with a candle. And this candle is hinting to, which is a verse in Proverbs, where it says, Ner Havaya Nishmas Adam, candle of the Almighty is the soul of man. It is the candle of the Almighty, which is the soul of man, that seeks out and inspects even to the areas within the stomach of a person. Chadri batan. And the way we're going to find it is through a teeny tiny candle. The way the Creator looks, because his candle, by which he uses to inspect us, is to our soul. As well, relating to making sure that we don't have these leaven products in our homes from the beginning of the festival. But you cannot find it if you don't look for it. Meaning, we are being asked to engage in the process of removing not just the physical leaven products from our physical homes, but those things which have leavened and taken growth in a negative fashion within our consciousness. Now, as well, at the beginning of this teaching from the Rebbe, we see there's the idea of by the light of the 14th, we're checking the chametz with the light of a candle. Now, in the Hebrew lunar calendar, the day starts by night when it's pitch black. Yet we talk about or la'arba asar, because we're checking on the 14th to see where there still could be chametz in the house, the leaven product. But we're checking at night, and the night is called light, which is very fascinating because generally most people associate revelation with day. But here we see from even the revealed dimension of the Torah, and how much more so from the inner dimensions of Torah, that night is light, as the example is given from the Talmudic teaching. By the light of the 14th, we're going to check for the chametz, the leaven product. So the question is this: if the day starts by night, which is called light, what are we going to accomplish in the daytime? The hours, several hours before we actually commence the festival of Passover. Therefore, the Rebbe wants us to know, yes, by the night, the beginning of the 14th of Pesach, it is called light. But by day, it's called Rishon. It's called first. Why? Because it's actually the beginning of the point where, even though it's not the 15th yet of Nisan, because we're on the Hebrew lunar calendar month of Nisan, which is also known as the month of redemption for us. The month of redemption for us, it should be actualized and exponentially spread out to be the month of redemption for the entire universe. That by day, which is called the first, it is the first point where, again, after the 5th hour and onward, we're not allowed to have benefit from these leaven products. So from the 5th hour on, after daylight, excuse me, has broken through, and it's day as we call it, like, you see there's light in the back of me. It's still day over here in Kissacar Heights. You see that the day is called the first to connect to the first day of the holiday of the Festival of Freedom. Chag Shel Cheresenu. Zman Cheresenu. So therefore, in the 7 days that we should not find any leaven products in our houses, it was preceded by the fact that we actually burned up. We have a custom to take a small package of 10 pieces of chametz, of leaven product, which we spread, someone from the family spreads it all over, and then the father, or the head of the house, or the mother, if there's no father in the house, the oldest son, or the older sister, if there's no brother, will look for the chametz. And so there are two rishons. There's by day, the beginning of the point where we cannot have any more benefit from the chametz, leading into the first, which begins by night, the first moments of the 15th of Nisan, the beginning of the holiday. So we'll leave it at that, blessed souls. Hopefully we'll go on. I'll have the time to do later on the week more of this Hasidic discourse. Again, to take us out of the dreariness. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of negative, sad news going around the world. In Brooklyn, Crown Heights, in Williamsburg, in Flatbush, in Borough Park, in Israel, in Italy, in Spain. We're all over the world. But still, in this darkness, there is a light. And hopefully the light that will be revealed from this darkness. I mean, I heard the other day, it was either someone from the World Health Organization, someone from the UN, saying, with this pandemic, perhaps nations will start to consider that it is no longer relevant to engage in conflict between nation and nation, that we should work together. And hopefully if we're going to really see the light in this, the silver lining in this dark cloud of pandemic, or the light at the end of this dark tunnel of the pandemic, and hopefully if the family of nations will cooperate, and that means each and every one of the 7.7 billion human beings gleaming and streaming into this creation, everyone should be happy and not feel disappointed. They've been anointed with the Tzelem Elokim, the divine image. All this should lead to ahava chad, one love, garla chad, one destiny, all of us, dark shalom. I have to remind myself before I remind anyone else, I've got to be good, you've got to be good, you all got to be good, because the tevatov le'eti, it is of the good to do good, and the Creator wishes for us to do good. And since we have to spend so much time by ourselves, to meditate more on how can I remove hatred, jealousy, and a sense of unnecessary other people. Hopefully, this will lead to an empowerment, a butterfly effect, ultimately leading to the universal redemption, where the knowledge of the Creator will cover the world like the waters of the ocean cover the seabed. Take care, everyone.